you know, Strictly Business. That was about the hip-hop club culture, you know, so to speak. I mean, you know, you had Jungle Fever. That had hip-hop written all through it by Spike Lee once again. I mean, Spike Lee just dominated the early 90s. Then we moved to 1992. You had another hip-hop classic, its soundtrack included. You had Juice with Omar Epps, Tupac Shakur. You know, that was showing you about DJs, from the DJ's point of view, mixing and all that. You know, my roommate, DJ Dow Jones, he really loves that movie. I have to watch that all the time with him. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm saying he does love Juice, as do I love Juice. I love Juice, one of my very favorite movies, one of the first movies I remember being able to quote word from word. Oh, I left this out about 1991. I'm sorry. 1991 also saw Boys in the Hood, which was an urban drama, but it was really showing you the hip-hop culture on the West Coast. That's what was introduced to hip-hop culture on the West Coast. In 1992, you also had Class Act with Kid and Play once again, which I could really consider House Party 3. You know, nobody really counts House Party 3 as a movie. I don't. You know what I'm saying? You had White Man Can't Jump. You know, that had hip-hop all through it. The high top fades, the Jordan jerseys, the Nikes, basketball. I mean, basketball and hip-hop have always been considered to be closely related to each other. Then you had one of the ultimate hip-hop classics of that year. You had the Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, Robin Givens, Martin Lawrence, David Allen Greer. I mean, that was just like the professional side of hip-hop. I mean, you had a man who was a businessman, a black man's businessman, take care of business. You know, he couldn't lose either way it go because he had either Halle Berry or Robin Givens. I don't know how you lose two in between that. And that closes out the hip-hop era. Next, we move from like 1993 to like, I'm going to say 1996 or 97. We had the urban movement. Now, House Party 3 came out in 1993. It was side. It wasn't really urban. I say it was urban because they put more emphasis on showing the neighborhood that they was in and them dealing with that man they had to pay back, that hoodlum they had to pay back. So that was one. You know, you had all kind of other urban movies. You had CB4, which was really urban. It was satire about the rap industry. You had Sugar Hill come out with Wesley Snipes about two Harlem drug dealers in Harlem's not well-known Sugar Hill. You know, that's like upscale part of Harlem. Then you had one of the best movies of 1993. Well, two of the best movies of 1993. You had John Singleton's Poetic Justice with Tupac Shakur and Janet Jackson. You know, this part of his Hood trilogy. And then you had, what in my opinion, launch really made urban dramas take off. You had Minister Society starring Lorenz Tate and a guy named Tyrone Turner who played Kane. And he's been in other things. Most of you, I don't know if any one of you know this, but in Belly, he was Rico. That's the guy eating the banana. I don't like that. Might drop dime on him. Yeah. That movie really took off. And then followed by that movie in 1994, another urban drama, which is also a nice sports movie, which is Above the Rim, with Tupac Shakur once again. I mean, it's got the great element of the streets, hoops, and hip-hop. That's another hip-hop soundtrack that's a classic. Then on top of that, so as well as Men Inside, then on top of that, you had this movie right here. People could not stop talking about this movie in 1995 when it first came out. It was the Hughes brothers who also directed Men's Society. The Hughes brothers, Dead Presidents. Everybody was talking about Dead Presidents for the longest time. I did not hear anybody who didn't watch that movie say they didn't like it. That starred Lorenz Tate once again, Chris Tucker, Joaquin Woodbine, who most of you know as Can't Get Right from Life, and Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos. I mean, that was a very good movie. It shed light on what a lot of Vietnam vets went through as they got home. Then in 1996, another one of my favorite movies came out, which had a killer soundtrack as well, was Sunset Park. About this white lady who coaches Fredo Starr and comedian talent and and the rest of their basketball team at Sunset High School in Brooklyn, New York. Very street, very sports worthy Good movie. Killer soundtrack. And then now we go to 1997. Oh, 1995. I'm sorry I left this out. Friday. Friday was really what kicked it off for urban comedies. But urban comedies didn't really get big until like 1997. And it was like a battle between urban comedies and professional comedies / love story, because in 1997 you had like I Got the Hookup. Who didn't go see I Got the Hookup? That was like the funniest movie of 1997. And also in 1997, you had Love Jones. Now Love Jones, new movie of its kind, because people had never seen it. You had young professional black people in there. There was no baby mamas. There was no crack smokers, no crack dealers. There was no shooting. It was a professional man with a college education trying to hook up a professional woman with a college education. And that was something refreshing to see. We never really saw that before. And in 1998, they went further with Have Plenty, which is about a woman named Haviland and a man named Will Plenty. Have Plenty. That's where they get that from. He was a bum. He had a college education, but he somehow was homeless. She had a college education, was some type of businesswoman, and they hooked up and they fell in love. But not the biggest year for movies though was 1999 for black movies. We had all kind of movies. We had Next Friday, which launched Mike Epps' career. And I'm not going to even lie to you guys. For the first 2 years of his career, I called this man Day Day. I didn't know his name. Then you had Life, which was an urban comedy, even though it took place back in the 1930s and 40s. You had The Wood, which is not only an urban comedy. It's an urban comedy. It's also professional comedy, because we didn't really know what all of these guys did. But until like I recently found out after watching it that Omar Epps' character was a writer. Don't know what Tay Diggs and Richard T. Jones' character did, but whatever they did, they made a lot of money, because Richard T. Jones was driving a brand new Navigator, which, I mean, if you had a Navigator back in 99, you was the man. You know, it had another professional comedy / love story, The Best Man. Everybody in there had a college degree in education, you know. Then you had Love and Basketball in 2000. You know, with Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan. They were both people that loved basketball, and she got a college education. He didn't, but he was in pursuit of his college education after he hurt his knee. And see, and then this spawned, after this happened, this spawned more movies to be made, because no one ever seen anything like that, like black people in cinema that were very successful.